What's going on, fam? Gym talk time. With that being said, I want to let you know what we discussed at the gym yesterday. I'm headed to the gym, so you know I love doing this. So, us guys, we were discussing muscle and how it is, how it grows, everything else, you know. And one thing, I'm not sure if you all are aware, but it takes a long time for muscle to grow. Unless you're on some steroids and stuff like that, it grows quicker, of course, but for people that's natural and everything else too, guess what? It takes a while to grow muscle. With that being said, one thing that we were saying about muscle is like, you know, how we want to look, how we want our muscles to look, you know, especially with the biceps. You know, guys was talking about the peak, the calves, we're talking about, you know, the quads, everything else, muscular stuff like that. But then I also said, hey, you know, yeah, it's great to have muscle, but we have to make sure that we're able to show that muscle, because if your BMI or your body fat is too high, you're not going to be able to show your muscle. So you want to make sure that's low. And they were like, yeah, that makes sense. That's all agreed upon that. I was like, well, at the end of the day, when you're building muscle, you have to make sure you feeding it. And how you feed it is by protein. How you grow it is by protein. You have to get, now I've been on YouTube, all this other stuff. People say you have to have 1.5 grams of your body weight. Some people say 1 gram of your body weight. I stick with the 1 gram of your body weight. So what I mean is, if you're 200 pounds, then if you're really trying to grow muscle, you need to be at least 200 grams of protein per day. With that being said, they was like, yeah, that's true. And I was like, well, you have to stay consistent in order to grow muscles too. Meaning that you can't eat, you know, your body weight in grams of protein one day and then miss the next couple of days, because you would have wasted that one day. You have to stay consistent, very consistent. That's why bodybuilders have a strict eating habit when it comes to their meals and everything else. So, and they was like, yeah. I was like, well, don't forget the science of muscle growth. At the end of the day, it takes a lot of things to grow muscles. Also, it takes rest. They're like, yeah. I was like, are y'all getting enough sleep? Because if you're not getting enough sleep, your muscle can't recover. If your muscle can't cover, guess what? It won't grow, because you stress it out when you're working out and stuff. But guess what? It has to recover so that it can break down and build back up. So recovering is the building back up part. You don't recover, you don't rest, it won't happen. And they're like, yeah. I said, so, and we were like, yeah, it's hard work. I was like, yeah, but it takes consistency. At the end of the day, if you're gonna want to look a certain way, you have to stay consistent in all areas when it comes to your workout, and especially when it comes to your diet. Also, I was telling them, like, less stress. Less stress is best. The reason why is because your body won't be fighting anything that's unknown. Therefore, spend its time where it needs to, which is recovery and muscle growth. So with that being said, they was like, yeah, that's a lot. I was like, yeah, it's a lot. That's why everybody in the gym aren't muscular. That's why everybody in the gym don't look, you know, a certain way, because they're not consistently doing what's needed. And we all agreed upon it. So we kind of like, okay, we're going to get on each other, like follow up, you know, every time we see them, make sure you eat your protein and get your protein in and everything else. And they all agreed, and, you know, we'll see how it goes from there. So with that being said, I just pulled up at the gym. If you're trying to grow muscle, make sure you're getting your sleep, your recovery, make sure you're eating your grams of protein and your weight, and then also make sure you're working out. Now, people will also say, how should I lift heavy? Or, well, at the end of the day, I'm learning, because I'm 44. I don't have to go heavy all the time, but it's great to feel your muscle, feel that pump. And what that pump is that, better explain the pump, because I really didn't understand the pump. Pump is literally simple as this. When you're doing a bicep curl and you finally feel that muscle just grow, just expand, that's that pump. And when you feel that pump, it's an amazing feeling. I definitely understand what Arnold was saying. Let me know what you think. Other than that, I just pulled up to the gym. Time to get right. Be blessed, everybody.